been on Marvel movies twice, Madam Web and Shang-Chi, and then I had a speaking role on Don't Look Up. And then,
With Meryl Streep.
correct, yes, and my son as well.
Well, hello, Juri Love. How are you today?
Great, thank you, Mr. Rappold.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. If there's one person I've been wanting to interview, honestly, it's you. I and I know I've told you this privately, but I'm just amazed, and I'm not the only one, at the diversity of your talents and your contribution to so many different efforts within the community. And really, the purpose of, even though you and I know each other, the purpose is really just, I guess, probably to learn a little bit more. And then also for the people that may not know you, for them to have a chance to, understand a little about you. So that's kind of the nature of this conversation. And I have some questions, but, feel free to go in any direction you want. But the first question I have is, where did your journey begin? And what early experiences shaped the woman you are today? So just a light question.
Sure. So my name is Juri Love. I'm originally from Japan. I grew up in very small village, about 4,000 people near Mount Fuji. And
Wow.
it was just my world was nature and no TV, no phone, no Facebook back then, obviously.
Yeah.
And I really uh, grew up in, I would say, not so much of privileges and just
Hmm.
farm and grow up with like no cultural exposure whatsoever. So definitely like nothing like what I'm experiencing today in America. But that's
Yes.
how I was raised. But what really shaped me, jumping on to the second question, is that my parents got divorced when I was 8, and then my dad started to sexually, physically, emotionally, verbally abuse me a lot. And then I escaped from him when I was 13 years old, and which is kind of unthinkable, I think, in America. But then I
Mm.
started to live with my mom, and then she didn't believe about the sexual abuse part. So I was very much of the victim of all of that and the PTSD, disbeliefs. And then I got kicked out when I was 18. I was homeless, and I worked my way through, and then saved about $30,000 and got a scholarship to Berklee College of Music and started a nonprofit. And now I'm a journalist. So it's a long journey, but
Yeah.
just to let you know, quick.
And how long have you been in the United States? When did you come over?
First time I came when I was 17, 18 as an exchange student. First was 2 weeks exchange program through government, and then went back to Japan, and then came to Washington State about 6 months as an exchange student when I was senior in high school, and then went back to Japan, and then came to Berklee College of Music in Boston, 1998, and then since then I'm stuck in Massachusetts.
Well, lucky. I think your story is impressive. It's very impressive because of where you started. You were started in another country, so you have a perspective that a lot of people don't. And you all you at a early age you had to deal with an unspeakable level of trauma. But as I've come to know you over these, I don't know, 10 years maybe, there's just there's an energy, there's an enthusiasm for life. There is embracing different interests and possibilities and things that I don't see a lot of other people do. And maybe it's because you only sleep 2 hours a night. I don't know. But where, coming from where you came from in the trauma that you experienced, at what point did you find your voice and realize, you know what? I can become this person that I've become, and I don't have to be a product of of the bad things that happened to me?
I really don't know where exactly was my turning point, or I am maybe still transitioning. I have no idea. I think every day is a journey. Something that people don't understand or maybe have misconception about PTSD is that it's not like one and done thing. It's because
Mhm.
you did EMDR, because you did DBT, you did like such an amount of therapy or anything. It's not like that. It just triggers in your brain of certain things. Like for instance, like the veterans, if somebody's behind them, maybe they get triggered. And then to me, if some man yells at me, like even today, it triggers me. And then maybe the span of being in a panic attack mode or depression or whatever the um, chemical shift in the brain, over
Mhm.
time, I feel like I learned a lot of tools to make that shorter than a week
Mm.
long panic.
Yes.
So I think I am going to have to deal with this trauma, and who I am is accepting part of me as dealing with lifelong PTSD. However, I'm older and wiser with all these toolboxes that I earned over the years, that I don't think I am like changed or turned around, but more so I gained the knowledge over the years how to deal with what I have experienced
Yeah.
as a survivor.
I don't wanna minimize what you went through in when I draw this comparison, but I think the human experience, whether you come from whether you suffer with PTSD or not, is we all have an opportunity or a tendency to be triggered by certain things. And we all experience anxiety and depression. It is part of the human experience, even if you live a blessed life. There is that element of that. And the best I think we can hope for is to shorten the reaction time from stimulus to response. And the fact that you've been able to do that given your background, I think for people listening, it provides a level of hope. And I think it, reinforces for the people that don't come from a traumatic background. Geez, if she can do it, I can do it too. May I ask, when you came to the States, did you already speak English?
None.
It's so again, it's unbelievable to me how you've embraced the opportunities in this country, coming from a place where you moved into another country and you didn't even speak the language. I mean, that's amazing to me. It's amazing. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, okay? And I know about you in some of your talents, but I'm going to ask, can you just go through some of the talents you have? Probably, I would guess, starting with piano.
Well, thank you. I'm not sure about the talent part, but one thing I don't do is ironing clothes. I cannot iron clothes.
Okay.
But everything
Okay.
else I'm pretty
Okay.
everything else I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah,
So
well,
not
the
mine.
list is long, but go ahead.
Well, so I am a trained professional pianist and a musician. I'm a singer, songwriter. I'm a filmmaker, TV producer, award-winning journalist for the Sun Chronicle for years. And I served as a Rotary member, and also I ran nonprofit for 12 years. It was called Genuine Voices, to teach music to juvenile offenders. And I'm a score mentor to coach businesses. And I'm a really, really grateful for you, a student at personal best karate, and then I just
Mhm.
earned my blue belt, and
Yay!
yay! And I do pickleball. I just did pickleball tournament for the
I
first time
saw.
in my life, and then I'm good at skiing, skating, cooking, and I do volleyball, beach tennis, and a lot of things that I do is really based on my interest, and at this point of my life, I really wanna enjoy my life, so I'm picking and choosing something that intrigues me, and I'm actually doing beach tennis tournament this month too.
Beach tennis in
Tournament.
January?
Indoor. Yes, indoor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
and then, I do acting, and I've been on Marvel movies twice, Madam Web and Shang-Chi, and then I had a speaking role on Don't Look Up, and then,
With Meryl Streep.
correct, yes, and my son as well. And then I have 2
Yes.
children, I'm a single mom, and I think I'm forgetting a lot of things, and I'm
Yes,
a
you
great
are.
great chef. I love cooking.
What's your favorite dish? What is your favorite type of food to cook?
Well, obviously Japanese food, but I think everybody that I, shared that they loved was a teriyaki salmon that I make overnight, marinade.
Oh, nice. That's wonderful. What is it in you that's not in other adults to go and explore so many opportunities? Because as you list all of those things, I feel like I want to take a nap, um, because, and I'm just generalizing. Maybe I can say in America, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but, for somebody to take country line dancing and make time to do one thing like country line dancing, a lot of times is a big ask because, they're a parent, they have a career, this, that, and the other thing. But you have such a diversity of talents. You have an ability to say, okay, sure, I want to try it. I might not be good at it, but I'm just going to do it. Where does that within you come from?
Sure. So, first of all, I'm in America, and that is understatement. In Japan, there are so much gender gap. In fact, Master Report, I did a presentation at the Foxborough Senior Center before the community center, and our presentation about gender gap. Japan ranked about 144th. Um, our economy is top, but our gender gap is really bad. I think
Hmm.
Yemen was the worst. Now, America is not even top 10. Iceland is for the past 10 years. This is a country where people are considered as a resource and then women are treated equally. Growing up in Japan, I've never seen women principal, train conductor, taxi driver. I do Uber and Lyft. I've never seen that. I have never seen women, in fact, being so educated, PhD, never. My aunt, for instance, was not allowed to go to high school. She was forced to go to kimono making school to be a wife. We have this thing called devotion. So when I date somebody or marry someone, whatever he says goes. I have to devote myself as a woman. I cannot walk in front of men. I've never seen men carry stuff or open doors. I'm in America where I'm a woman, and then since I came here when I was 22, I took a full advantage of this country. And I'm aware where I am right now, where people don't judge me of everything that I'm doing. And I don't have to be put down because I'm divorced twice and I'm a single mom. I'm single. So those are the social stigma that we have in Japan that people gossip about and they put you down and talk down on you. And because of that perspective, every single day I'm grateful. And then I am not taking advantage. I'm taking advantage of this country and never gonna take for granted of whatever the opportunity that presents in front of me. That's a huge part of it. But then another part of it is I learned over time that my motto is opportunity is not given if you're not capable of. When people ask opportunity to do something, that means they trust you already to show up. For instance, there was shooting, unfortunately, at the Brown University. I was doing beach tennis, and then my boss at the Sun Chronicle called me out of all the reporters and asked me to go to this community gathering right after the shooting. And that to me is a trust. And that to me is that I should not worry. I should just show up because he chose me and he trusts my work. So people sometimes tend to spend a lot of time worrying about things and having anxiety. Should I do it? Can I do it? I don't, because opportunity is given to you because you are capable of and you're trusted. And I know that from experiences, and that's maybe a little bit of difference that I have.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's such a gift. It is just such a gift that you have. Whenever we go through a difficulty in our life, when we come out the other side, we're just so grateful for not being in that situation that we were in. And there's something within you that I see that there is a gratitude in your heart that is just unmistakable. There's a willingness to want to contribute in many different ways, which kind of leads to my next question, which is why is community, and I think I know it, but I've never asked you. So, why is community service so important to you? And how has serving others contributed to your healing and your growth?
Thank you very much for that question. So when I was 17 years old, I was dating somebody that had encouraged me to volunteer in the community, which in Japan is kind of rare. I was almost gonna drop out high school. I was skipping school. I was a bad student, and that was a turning point when I volunteered with disabled men, and that I was in charge of feeding him and communicating with him. And that really changed my perspective because I come from this abusive background, which is obviously, hard, but I was always victimizing myself and really not thinking about these abilities that I can see, I can smell, taste, hear, the basic 5 senses that I was born with, that I've never considered it as a privilege until the moment that I did the community service and the volunteer. So,
Hmm.
I would say in America, the volunteerism is so integrated since young. Like, the personal charity best charity is a great example that I've never seen kids fundraise that way. I've never
Mhm.
seen, like, people committed to serve other people. That's so natural in American culture. In Japan, it's not at all. So,
Hmm.
for example, like, I wasn't exposed to it until I was 17 years old,
Oh.
until this, uh person recommended that I should do to be grateful. So I would say the community service is not giving it to some other people, but more so realizing it, how much of the privilege that you have, although you might not have everything, at least you have something that you can contribute to help other people. And that's why I think the community service is two-way streets, and then it's important.
Mm. And w- my feeling on it is sometimes I don't think guilt is the right word, but for the attention that I sometimes get for some of the things that I do, I feel like I benefit more than the people that I'm serving because it's such a it's such a dopamine hit for me to be of service. And I'm sure would you say the same for yourself?
Absolutely. I have an amazing story to share with you.
Please.
Because, um, basically, I ran a nonprofit for 12 years, serving juvenile offenders, American gangs, Blood and Crips, and really hardcore, um, you know, the violence people, like, that people just don't wanna be around. But, of doing this Genuine Voices, I got to know a lot of youth, which I'm very, very happy that some of them turned around. And then couple years ago, this, um, boy that I knew since he was 16, now he's in 30s, that he asked my cash app, and then he gave me $300. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Thank you so much for helping me, and then, taking me in your wing." And then it's to me that it may only take one person to believe in you when you're going through stuff. And again, that was such a win moment. And I have many students that graduated from our program and they benefited from our program, still check in with me and then thank me. And then I would say that impact that you make through the communities, you know, opportunities, it's not just today. It's not just one person. It's to impact that student's children in the future, grandchildren in the future. Um, I have a favorite phrase, be the change to break the cycle.
Mm,
So a lot of times, like, abuse is considered maybe repetitive, and then cycle. So your dad abused you, so you're gonna be abusive. Your father was abusive, maybe because your father's father was abusive. But you
yeah,
don't have to be continuing that legacy.
yeah.
You can be the change. And then that is a courage, but then of seeing the community impact, think of this way. I have a student who's never seen ocean until 18. After he graduated from the program,
Mm,
that we brought him to Rockport for sea kayaking, and then he thanked us for bringing him to sea kayaking. He's never seen ocean. He was 18,
mm, mm.
and he lived in Mattapan, which is not far from ocean.
Right. Not at
And
all.
and I was just stunned. But what I'm saying is, when your environment restricts you, if you are born under the war, you just don't know. So sometimes community service or somebody like yourself, somebody who's committed to reach out to other people, come to like kind of a helicopter rescue and then put them into a different place or put them in a different perspectives. Then what would
Mhm.
happen is that I remember my probation officer, who was a board member of the nonprofit. I was like, "I wanna change the world." And then he's like, "Oh, Juri, calm down. You need to change one person at a time. If you can't change one person, that kid will go back to the community and then become a ripple effect." It's almost like placing a stone in the water, and it has this ripple effect. So focus on changing one life at a time. And that was really
Mhm.
great method. So long answer, but I think the community service not only impact that person, but multi-generations to come, and then, like,
Mhm.
giving the opportunity to be the change.
Yes. You know, your long list of, accolades and accomplishments, you left out one, which is you're an author, you wrote your book, and you're a podcaster. And the book, writing the book and the podcast and the subject matter is very congruent with your message. Can you talk about both of those?
Yes, and the master report helped me to finish my book. We have, like, one.
You're too kind. I'm not sure I did too much there.
You did, and then you gave me the deadline, and then that was why I was able to finish my book. It's called A Gift from Adversity, and then overcoming sexual abuse, homelessness, bullying, and domestic violence. It's a very heavy topic, and it's about my life,
Yes.
but it starts with the Dead Sea in Israel, where I was traveling and then swimming in the Dead Sea, and then at the lowest point of the earth, that I was at the lowest point of my life. So that's kind of how my book starts. And then go back to Japan and my childhood, and then the nonprofit and all the tools that I learned. So that's my book. But the podcast is really stemmed out from my book. It's the same title, A Gift from Adversity. It's available on podcast and Spotify. And then you can listen to over 150 episodes of people talking about their adversities. But not only that, the tools that they use to overcome and a gift that came from it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I just want to be clear, what's the name of it so that people, if they want to listen to it, which I have, and it's excellent. Um, what's the name of it?
A gift from adversity, and then it's
Okay.
available on Amazon. And then Juri, Juri, Love.
Yes. And that's the coolest last name. Was
Thank
that really your last name or did you pick it?
I picked it when I became citizen. When you become
Did you really?
yeah, when you become citizen, you can pick any name. You can change the whole name on
Okay.
free of charge. I mean, like you pay for
Yeah,
citizenship
yeah.
fee, but yeah, it's one chance that you can do.
It's wonderful, and it fits you so well. It really, really does.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, next question, second to last, is what would you want someone in an abusive or emotionally heavy situation to hear today, especially if they don't see a way out? Because I've not had that experience. So, I could perhaps give advice and I would do it from my heart and I would do the best I could. But my credibility, because I've not walked in those shoes, is not gonna be as high as you. You've gone through it, you've come out the other side, so I just feel like your your advice, your counsel, your inspiration, your support, your words, I think just means so much. What would you say?
Well, it's a very, very heavy questions, and I don't want to misspoken about it. Now, couple of things that I can say, Master Rappold. When you are in a situation of domestic violence, you don't know. You don't know that you are in the middle of the storm because you're so brainwashed and then you are so manipulated that you think it's normal. I
Mhm,
had that, unfortunately, people tell me that you are in abusive relationship. But I was like, no, no, I'm okay. No, but I was. But because of the children, because of father daughter relationship, authoritative things, gender gap things, cultural thing, a lot of things, the first step is that you somehow have to realize that you are in the domestic violence situation, abusive
mhm,
situation. When I was getting sexually abused by my dad and two uncles, they told me this is a tickling game. I didn't know anything about PTSD or sexual abuse until I was 22 years old. However,
mm,
the abuse happened between 8 to 13.
mm,
Abuse is a form of behavior that you have to recognize it's a crime. You have to be educated that it's not okay.
mhm,
So I would blame the culture. I would blame the big brain wash part of it. However, I think the person who are in the situation is in a big denial because of the lack of education. So that's the first step as a responsible adult. I'm actually working on a couple of different bills. Child Sex Abuse Awareness Committee in Foxborough are doing great job doing darkness to light training to have more eyes on children or educate them how to
mhm,
say body parts, like, the right way to say, and then being able to advocate to
mhm,
prevent this, because once rape or sexual abuse or domestic violence happens, it's, it stays in your brain for rest of your life, and it takes maybe 5 minutes to rape a child, like my case, right? Like, I don't know how long, but I think recognizing it is the biggest thing. But once you recognize, this is kind of tricky. When you are as an adult or child, um I learned it later on, when you're sexually assaulted, the first person that you confide is the first witness because there's no video evidence. There's no
Right.
witness. So don't tell your like friend who you care because there's a victim's protection to that person, but not the family. So if your friend is your first witness and have to come to the trial, she or he will be protected, but their children are not. So the perpetrator may come after. So my biggest advice is when you unfortunately experience this sexual assault or any domestic violence situation, go to the police station and then come find the first witness as a police officer that they have
Mhm,
a lot of protection that most likely perpetrator will not go after them. You need
mhm,
3 witnesses to go on the trial. So, uh, police officer, detective, that's fine. But then if you involve your friends, unfortunately, they have to go to court. So
mhm.
to avoid this, first of all, see the red flag, boundary, dating is a biggest thing that, we definitely try to get validation from a lot of other, partners. But self-love, self-care, I think that's the best prevention of domestic violence to start with set a boundary. And then when you see the red flags, just get out of it, block them, and then just walk away before things gets worse. Because I've seen murders, I've seen, horrible things that I have to cover. And then, just being involved in this, community work, I've seen the worst of the worst. So I feel lucky that I'm actually alive and then survived all that. But for the people, advice wise, everything I've said, and also if unfortunately happened, my biggest advice that I learned was that's what happened to you. That's not who you are.
You're you're uh you're such an accomplished woman, and you have such a beautiful perspective. I feel like before I ask my final question, I wouldn't be doing service right unless I talked about you as a mom, because I think you're an extraordinary mom. And I obviously have had the privilege of knowing both of your children and knowing them, and it's just wonderful. Can you talk about your your the inspiration that continues through you, and maybe the motivation for the person you're becoming? I have to imagine a lot of that is an example to your children.
Master report, I always tell people that you become parent without any education to become one.
Mhm,
Parenting is the most challenging thing. It has no prerequisite and it has no training to become a one. I absolutely don't know what I'm doing, if I'm doing right thing or wrong thing. Maybe I made so many mistakes, especially as a single mom. I'm wearing both roles, like I'm working and I'm
mhm,
raising and try to focus on myself. But what I learned a lot is as a Japanese woman, speaking of the devotion to men and children, I never ever came first. I never
mm,
ever put myself first. And I
mhm,
think the biggest lesson I learned was because I was putting them first, I wasn't taking care of myself, like the oxygen
mhm.
story that
Yes.
you have to put the oxygen mask for yourself. So I think doing the karate has helped
Mhm,
me a lot, and doing these athletic things have been amazing help
mhm.
for my mental sanity and instability because being a single mom is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. And then without a child support and then just constantly working. This nail, I haven't done nail for a year and a half. I just did it like on Friday. I last time I did nail was because my son got nominated for Emmy. So I would say it's trial and error. And then also I learned that I should not compare with other
Mm,
mothers that have these privileges of having husband and going on vacation and then, seeing them like, happy and then
mhm.
thriving, kids thriving, because obviously my kids don't have those.
Mhm.
And I feel like one of the thing that I really care, regardless of money or any privileges that I don't have, what I do have is I try to not underestimate their power, and I try not to shut them off of what they want to do in their lives, that because of the age, unless they have a restriction of age.
Mhm.
My son wanted to become a pilot since 5 years old. I started him, with the Young Eagles, which is a volunteer pilot program. Since 7 years old, he's been flying Cessna 172. He started to fly take a flight lesson since age of 8, and he wanted to, so he's 3-time Emmy nominee. And then, he's got contract with Nessun Clubhouse, modeled, been, um worked with Oscar-winning director Adam McKay on Don't Look Up, and then had so many great opportunities through the agency. My daughter included TV modeling opportunities. And then, for example, last year my son wanted to start a film festival, because I asked him, "Do you want to direct a movie? Because you've been in the movie, and then opportunities." And he said, I'd rather create opportunity for other people.
Mm.
I want to start a film festival." So I said, "Okay, let's do it." So we raised about $3,000 thanks to partner in patriotism who donated the money, Marriott Performing Arts Center in Foxborough that hosted, and then Foxborough Rotary Club that donated. We had a full-blown film festival, 23 films submitted, short films submitted from all over the world, gave awards, and then created this opportunity in the community in the filmmaking industry. I was very proud of him. But what I'm saying is, a lot of parents may say, "It's a pain in the neck. I don't think you should do it." Maybe, but I felt like I dove right in, and then, just really trying to make things happen. And that doesn't really go only to my children, but, for other
Mm.
youth, especially, I started What's Up, which is a youth production. I'm very proud that 2 of my mentees are now in Ethica film school, and then some of them are going to film school. And then I feel like creating these opportunities, especially in the youth, including my children, to me is the most important thing. And then to not say no. It's hard as an adult, like, to like, "Hey, what are you talking about, kid?" You know what I mean? But, I think I was very frustrated as a child. For instance, when I couldn't play the piece of Chopin that didn't I was not allowed to play because my teacher said it's too advanced for me, which I actually played for my proficiency at Berklee College of Music. I was very proud of myself. But, those are the things, especially in Japan, because of the age, because of the gender, you are not allowed to do that. And I hate it so much, because any children, anybody who has visions and dreams should be supported. And that's why I'm in this country. I love America because American people always supported my ideas and the missions. Like when I studied a nonprofit, I had no idea what I was doing. So that's kind of not just to my children, but anyone that I can touch and then talk to. Like, I want to leverage their lives and their dreams. And then if I can do the same thing that people did for me, I will be very, very grateful.
Mm. That's wonderful. What do you want your legacy to be?
Hmm. Somebody who survived the adversity, that realized the maximum potential, and then applied it in her lifetime.
It's very succinct, and it's profound, and it's exactly who you are, and it's what you do. Thank you so much for allowing me to ask these questions. You are a force of nature, young lady, and I'm just I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud to be able to call you a friend. I'm so proud to know your children. It's the community is better because Jury Love is in it. So thank you so very, very much for taking the time today to have this little conversation.
Absolutely. I'm so honored and I'm very happy for your podcast. And then thank you so much for the opportunity.
It's my pleasure.